If you travel around with your cat and you're wanting to take them abroad from England to mainland Europe, this video is going to share with you everything that you need to do, legal requirements to make sure that you can do that. I have just crossed over from England to France and we're travelling through Spain to Portugal for the winter. So I have recently done this myself and it was a very smooth transition, no problems at all. Spoiler, it's going to cost you some money. So there are a few legal requirements. First off is that your cat is microchipped and it is ISO compliant. That will be checked at border control. I think it's a legal requirement in England anyway, but just in case, you need to have your cat microchipped. Second up is a rabies vaccine. You need this at least 21 days before you travel. You can get this from your vets. Savannah, other than hating the vets, that's my main coon that I'm travelling around with, she just hates the vets, but she was absolutely fine afterwards, didn't even notice any changes in her. That will cost you about £60. Now next up is the biggie. This is the replacement for pet passport since we left the EU. Cheers Brexit. It's an animal health certificate and this cost me just shy of £200, and you need to do this every single time you're travelling to Europe. What a joke. Anyway, it's a legal requirement and you've got to do it. You're essentially paying for the vets to fill out 12 pages of paperwork. They need to know where you're staying, what kind of cat you've got, what country you're going into, so the language of the form can be put into the right country. So once you get your health certificate, it is valid for 10 days. So you essentially have 10 days to get into the country you want to go to after you have this vet appointment. It is then valid for 4 months. So I'm doing a 3-month trip with my cat, so it will be valid for that time. I was quite disappointed, I guess, when I went to go get it because they barely even looked at the cat. Like, this isn't about checking the animal to make sure they're safe to travel and they're well enough. This is just ticking some boxes to get in since Brexit. So they didn't really do anything with the cat. They just checked her microchip worked and then they just filled out some paperwork and I had to sign it. Within this, now, I only thought during my research this was a legal requirement for dogs, but apparently you have to do this for cats as well. There is a worming tablet that you have to give them at least 5 days before travel. They sign this off in that health certificate document as well. And regarding this, when you're returning to the UK, you need to visit a vet 5 days before you're travelling back across. They will give them another worming tablet and also to check their microchip, because if it's not working and you get to customs and it won't scan, they will quarantine your animal at God knows what cost. So you're going to have to sort out a vet appointment 5 days before returning to the UK to get the worming tablet and the microchip checked. And the last one is just to make sure your pet insurance covers where you're travelling. If you have your pet insured, which is a wise thing to do, especially when travelling abroad, make sure with your provider that you are covered if you go to certain countries. There may be additional charges, but the one I've got covered it anyway, so that's fine. It's always a good thing to check the countries that you're going to. I am travelling through France, Spain and Portugal, so I have checked those countries. The important part is the country you enter into because of the health certificate. When I pulled up in the van after getting off the ferry, they asked to see the cat, so I opened the door and they basically just saw her, because you have to write a description, so I think what they're doing is just checking that it looks like what you've put in the form. And before I left the UK, they gave me a machine and I had to go scan her microchip and they matched that up with the form. So it was a very smooth transition actually. I was expecting it to be a bit more complicated or having a few more checks, but they just waved us all straight through and she handled the ferry very well, even though it was a little bit of rough seas. We were rocking at times. I was half expecting to come back to sick in the van because I kept Savannah in the van and I went upstairs. I had just a 4-hour ferry ride over here from Newhaven to Dieppe and I chose that because it was the shortest one I could find. So I thought it would be the easiest for my animal. And she was absolutely fine. No bother at all. She just went to sleep. So that's everything that you need to know before taking your cat abroad. I hope you found this useful. And if you're new here, please follow along for our travels. And if you're not new here, thank you for watching. Huge shout out to my Patreons. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so over at patreon.com. Search for myvanworld and you'll find me over there, or there is a link in the video description. And if not, I will catch you in the next one. Peace out and stay wild.